Hello and welcome to AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate course. This is in continuation with Concepts and Components part. Now in this video, we will discuss about deployment and administration component of AWS infrastructure. The deployment and administration component consists of IAM, CloudWatch, CloudTrail, CloudFormation, OpsWorks, and Elastic Beanstalk. So IAM is Identity and Access Management Service. It enables you to securely control access to AWS services and resources for your users. Using IAM, you can create and manage AWS users and groups and use permissions to allow and deny their access to AWS resources. IAM is a feature of your AWS account offered at no additional charge. You will be charged only for use of other AWS services by your users. This is basically an identity and access management service, and it provides services to create users, groups, roles, and it also has federation services in which we can federate AWS with other identity providers. Now the next component is CloudWatch. Amazon CloudWatch is a monitoring service for AWS Cloud. It monitors the resources and applications that we run on AWS. You can use Amazon CloudWatch to collect and track metrics, collect and monitor log files, set alarms, and automatically react to changes in your AWS resources. Amazon CloudWatch can monitor AWS resources such as Amazon EC2 instances, Amazon DynamoDB tables, Amazon RDS DB instances, as well as custom metrics generated by your applications and services, and any log files your applications generate. You can use CloudWatch to gain system-wide visibility into resource utilization, application performance, and operational health. You can use these insights to react and keep your application running smoothly. One of the used applications of CloudWatch is Amazon auto-scaling feature. So we can set rules in CloudWatch that if the memory or CPU performance goes above this, auto-scaling feature can launch new instances or vice versa. Now the next component is CloudTrail. AWS CloudTrail is a service that enables governance, compliance, operational auditing, and risk auditing of your AWS account. With CloudTrail, you can log, continuously monitor, and retain events related to API calls across your AWS infrastructure. CloudTrail provides a history of AWS API calls for your account, including API calls made through the AWS Management Console, AWS SDKs, command line tools, and other services. This history simplifies security analysis, resource change tracking, and troubleshooting of AWS resources and services. Now the next component of deployment and administration is CloudFormation. AWS CloudFormation gives developers and system administrators an easy way to create and manage a collection of related AWS resources, provisioning and updating them in an orderly and predictable fashion. You can use AWS CloudFormation's sample templates or create your own templates to describe the AWS resources and any associated dependencies or runtime parameters required to run your application. You don't need to figure out the order of provisioning AWS services or the subtleties of making those dependencies work. CloudFormation take care of this for you. After the AWS resources are deployed, you can modify and update them in a controlled and predictable way. In effect, applying version control to your AWS infrastructure the same way you do with your software. You can also visualize your templates as diagrams and edit them using a drag and drop interface with the AWS CloudFormation Designer. You can deploy and update a template and its associated collection of resources called a stack by using the AWS Management Console, AWS Command Line Interface, or APIs. CloudFormation is available at no additional charge, and you pay only for the AWS resources needed to run your applications. Now the next component of deployment and administration is OpsWorks. AWS OpsWorks is a configuration management service that uses Chef, an automation platform that treats server configurations as code. OpsWorks uses Chef to automate how servers are configured. It also automates deployment and manage across your Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud instances or on-premise compute environments. OpsWorks has two offerings, AWS OpsWorks for Chef Automate and AWS OpsWorks Stacks. OpsWorks can be used in scenarios where you have to configure and deploy server configurations for a huge number of servers. Now the next component is Elastic Beanstalk. AWS Elastic Beanstalk is an easy to use service for deploying and scaling web applications and services developed with Java, .NET, PHP, Node.js, Python, Ruby, Go, and Docker on familiar services such as Apache, Passenger, and IIS. You can simply upload your code and Elastic Beanstalk automatically handles the deployment from capacity provisioning, load balancing, auto-scaling to application health monitoring. At the same time, you retain full control over the AWS resources powering your applications and can access the underlying resources at any time. There is no additional charge for Elastic Beanstalk. You pay only for the AWS resources needed to store and run your applications. This concludes the deployment and administration component of AWS infrastructure. Now let's have a look at AWS Management Console. As you can see, we have logged into AWS Management Console and the various services which we have discussed are present here. The services has been divided into by their functionalities, and we can find most of the services which we discussed in the Management Console. It is not necessary that we will be using all the services, but it depends what is our requirement and what we want from AWS. For example, for the people who need just Windows servers, they will use EC2 component of compute unit and will deploy their applications there. For people who need email services, they will use SES. For people who want storage services, they can use S3 or Glacier or EBS, etc. For people who want database services may use RDS DynamoDB features. However, for identity and access management, we can use security and identity services from AWS. So this concludes the infrastructure explanation of AWS. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.